Hey, good morning, everybody. It is episode 489. It is Thursday, June something, 25th?
Fit.
25th. And we've got some special news to start off the call. Good morning. Go
Good
ahead,
morning.
Moshe.
So there's Amanda Fernandez and Laura Jara Rivera. They've been part of your community, and they want to introduce themselves and share their experience.
Well, good morning.
Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Sean.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all,
Amanda, go ahead.
okay, Laura, thank you. First of all, I wanted to say hello and thank you. I did a little bit of a quick intro in Moshe's call earlier today. My name is Amanda Fernandez. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm 31 years old. I'm a physical therapist. I got my doctorate degree from Florida International University. I work in the skilled nursing facility down in Homestead, Florida, and been recently treating coronavirus patients and actually tested positive for coronavirus. And that's been about 2.5 weeks ago. And that's kind of what got me started with the opportunity to learn about personal development. And my sister had given me the link to one of Nano's calls. The next day, you had spoken, Sean. So I did a little bit of research and was able to find your Zoom call. So I've been waking up earlier. Once I started kind of getting over the symptoms and health-wise, physically feeling better, I decided to get my mental side, put it in check. So I've really taken this opportunity, which was a scary opportunity, was a scary feeling and emotion and time in my life, to something very positive. I have a completely different mindset. I've changed my whole entire morning routines, and they include you, they include this family, and I feel so blessed in all of this. So I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do. I did have one question, which I was hoping you can shed some light on.
Sure.
And so with all the positivity I've been able to create for myself, I've been able to share it with others. And there have been some moments where I have had, there was one moment in particular where I did a to-do list. One of them was to see if I could sell like a vacation club membership, which I have. And I actually received a phone call the very moment that I finished your call. And it was someone asking if they wanted me to purchase, if I wanted to sell them the vacation club membership. And I was like, there's no way that I have, manifested this so quickly. I did a little bit of research and consulted some of my family members. And it was, I'm not going to be doing it because I believe it was like a scam. And then I've also had some people reach out to me on, Instagram or Telegram, and I don't, I don't know them. And normally my old self would be like, I don't know you. There's no way, I'm not going to let you in because I don't know what your intentions are. So I guess my ultimate question would be, in these times where we are trying to send positivity and good things happen to others, in turn we are receiving, and how can I filter what I am receiving? How can I know if what people are trying to communicate is good? So
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your service. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and ordered food?
of course, yes, I have.
And has what you ordered, if you ordered something off of the menu and it showed up, what did you say?
Thank you.
Okay. See, the universe is kind of like that as well. We have this menu called unlimited possibilities. And say you ordered have you ever walked out of a restaurant because it's just like you ordered it and it shouldn't take 2 hours for a hamburger to show up?
You know, Sean, I've been very lucky. That has not happened to me, but I can imagine how that feels.
So there's been delays. There's been, the food has shown up and you go, man, that was quick. Holy mackerel, right? Sometimes that happens with breakfast, depending upon what anybody's ordered. You're having your cup of coffee and all of a sudden it's like, man, that got here quick. I say that to say the things that are happening in this world as your energy adjusts itself to be more of what you want and less of what you don't, it can happen that quick. You can end one call and jump on and a phone ring and something happen. Now, there is a level of discernment that needs to happen. But imagine if you went to the same restaurant all the time, and every time you ordered the food, it showed up, you went, I don't think that's right. No, send that back. They'd ask you to leave the restaurant. Now, I'm not saying that you got off the call and the phone rang and it wasn't a scam. It is what it is. I don't know. I would encourage you to start to look at what, as you begin to ask, as your energy aligns itself more in what you want and less in what you don't, you'll be amazed at how fast the universe works and delivers on your wishes. This idea of law of attraction is pretty powerful. So how long have you been coming to the calls?
About a week, like a solid week.
Okay, a solid week. In a week, Amanda, you go from not saying anything to now all of a sudden asking a question. Follow me on this. If anybody believes that Amanda's question was a valid question, drop an AQ in the chat. Amanda's question. Drop an AQ in the chat. And now all of a sudden you go from not saying anything to being somebody who's absolutely asking some pretty amazing questions and guiding a community. Which I think if we dive in a little bit more as you allow us to learn more about you, not now, but I bet there's a part of you that says you want your community, you want your space, your world, to have more people who are like-minded like you versus people who are not like you. That's a pretty general statement, but all of a sudden, from a week from not speaking to all of a sudden finding Moshe, being on a meditation, to now having this conversation now, I'd say you have a pretty strong attraction in the world that allows more of what you want to start to show up for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Sean.
It's that valuable. So I would say that couple of things. One, in the work that you do, in the service that you give, especially with the high intensity around the particular topic of COVID,
yeah.
You treating patients, you treating those people who are statistics, who most people never get to see that side of it. And then having been through it, there's a certain part of you that has an energetic level that most don't. So when you put your mind to something, there's a strong chance it's going to happen hell or high water. And that can work in either direction, the not so positive and the positive.
Is there any tips or recommendations as far as like, because you get all kinds of people coming into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to, I guess, filter the good and the bad, or do I just take it all and then Take it all and then
So
figure it out as it comes.
yeah, figure out as it comes. But here's the thing. Is there any bad? Follow me on this. Is there any good? And what I mean by that is if good happened to you right now and all of a sudden $100 bill blew up outside, the wind blew and $100 bill blew onto your porch, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But what if all of a sudden the wind really blew hard and 10 $100 bills blew on your porch? Is the $100 now not good? Well, it's
I
not as good as
understand.
1,000.
Yeah.
So nothing's ever as good as it could be. Nothing's ever as bad as it could be. When we start to look at things and we start to say, this is not good, this is not bad, this just is. It's not what the thing is, it's the story we tell ourselves about the thing, right? This is a little thing, a glass cleaner from Costco, right? For the glasses. Is this really important? Only if
You
my
have
glasses, only if my glasses are dirty. So it becomes valuable when we put value to it. It becomes good when we put value to it. Here's the question. Have you ever been through a difficult moment in your life where as you look back going, well, I'm glad I went through that. I didn't enjoy it when I went through it, but I'm glad I went through that because otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is a perfect example. I was extremely sick and now I would not be here. I would not be here. I am so blessed and grateful.
So in your eyes, then, is Corona bad?
I mean, it's bad while it's bad and it's good. It's great while it's good.
And once we've gone through it, right? While you were in the middle of the, right? They say if you're going through hell, don't stop, just keep going. When you're in the middle of it, you got to experience your body at a whole new level.
Yeah.
You got to experience things as a nurse, as somebody who deals with the patients. You can now speak to them. You can now give me a level of calmness, a level of understanding because you've been through it.
Got it.
So it might have sucked while you were there, but here's the good news. Even while it was sucking, you were still able to say, this sucks, which is pretty good. There's 4 million people who haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
So it comes back to being in the moment, joy or misery. There's moms who have had labor for 30 hours. I don't know what crazy amount of time of labor is, but I think that's a long time. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." And you see the stories or the kind of outtakes of, every time there's a thing, you did this to me, get this thing out of me, right? They wouldn't take that away for anything when the child's here. So it really comes back to this whole idea of the daily awakening, is that every time you go through something, it's a chance to awaken to a new level of experience that you may be able to have a connection with somebody else at a level you never thought possible. In your particular world of treating people, you've been through something that a whole bunch of first responders have been through. You've now kind of entered into the club. You've passed the red velvet rope that you don't have to pay admission anymore. Because of your history, you're automatically qualified to speak at a level that most people can't speak at. So you can speak at a level that I can't, because you've experienced it firsthand. The reason I teach what I teach in the world that I teach is because I've experienced some pretty rough moments firsthand that give me a qualification. So when I ask for things, would it be possible to say, well, oh my gosh, why would Amanda come on here and ask such a crazy question? I don't know if I could answer it. I hope I never get a question like this again. No. This is a perfect question. It's not a challenge at all. It's an amazing question, and I applaud you in a week to go from wallflower to doing research, finding, searching, uncovering. How do I get there? I find Moshe. I get on a call with Moshe, and all of a sudden it's like the world's a little bit brighter today.
Yeah.
Does that
Thank you,
help?
Sean. Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. And
Thank
it
you.
a pleasure to meet everybody. Love all you guys. My new family. Love it.
Love you too. Thank you. That's number one. And who is number two?
Right here.
Hey, hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Laura.
This is me out of my comfort zone. I was planning to talk only with 10 people, and now I'm talking to a lot of people. And it's just crazy. So thank you, Michelle, for putting me on the spot. My name is Laura. I'm 24 years old. I have a kid. He is 7 years old. I had him when I was very young. And at that time, I thought my life was just completely done, I guess. I never thought I would go this far. A year ago, I started working out for myself. I started looking what could I do for myself. And a year ago, I decided to go to the gym and work out and find myself. And after that, a lot of doors closed in my face, but also new doors open for me, and it's been challenging. So being here is a blessing. I choose joy every day now. There are some days that I'm like, but I keep choosing joy no matter what. I don't know what else to say.
Well, Laura, here's the great news. First of all, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a mom who is on a constant journey of success, right?
Thank you.
There's a lot of times it's got to be exhausting sometimes as you go through, and they look at you and they look at your boy and they go, wait a minute, what? And a story runs through your head of, yes, I was very young, and you got to go through the whole story every time. Such that sometimes when there was probably moments in your life where you might have even said, this is just to avoid the conversation, you came up with a different story. He's my little brother, this, that, or the other, or it's like, I'm just tired. I don't want to have to explain it again. But in the explanation, the question I have for you is, it gets tired because you are such a unique soul on this planet. There are moms who have had kids when they were young, very young, but there's only a handful of you. If there was 50,000 of you out of 7 billion, I'd say you're pretty special, who are your age and understanding the circumstances. So for you to sit here in front of us right now as somebody with a smile on your face, as somebody who sometimes there's a feeling you maybe the cards you were dealt you wonder why you got dealt that hand. You've got an amazing young boy who gives you a chance to know that you brought joy to the world. So I applaud you. I'm in awe of you. And I'm so glad that you showed up here. You should be, your story will inspire tens of thousands. And I just have this feeling that this is the first chance we all will remember meeting you. But it'll be one of many chances we get to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Laura.
you so much.
You're amazing.
Oh,
How about
thank
throwing
you.
some
You're
hearts
welcome.
up for Amanda and Laura, y'all? Two powerful women.
Thank you so much.
there seems to be a pattern here of powerful people who show up here. And Moshe,
Don't
thank you for
say.
sharing them with us. What'd you say, Leo?
I was just saying, you don't say.
Yeah, you don't say. And I'm glad I heard that first. Again, here's what happens. So I'll go back to Amanda. Amanda, we typically have, we get on here, I say good morning, and then we've been starting with, because of the tension in the world, just saying a blessing and a prayer for everybody. I think we have we have a reason to add some to that. You showed up first, both you and Laura showed up first and had a conversation, because I do believe there's a reason for us to send blessings to you. So where's RBP? Rhonda? There you are. Could you again do our morning blessing, but you might be able to include two amazing additional souls specifically.
Absolutely. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the gift that you started this call with. These two amazing souls. Thank you for the courage and the strength that you gave them since they were born, and now you've redeemed it and brought it back out into the surface and allowed them to utilize that in such a way so they can show up and we can see them in a different light and we can notice them in a different way. Thank you for the leadership of Moshe to be able to foster that and give them a place. Father, thank you that you are showing here on this platform that gender is not the issue, that race and color is not the issue, that men can help women and women can help men, that every race can help each other, that every voice is the voice that you created and the lungs that you breathed your life into. Father, thank you for such a beautiful display of how you love each one of us and how you're showing us to love ourselves and love each other. Thank you for showing up here. Thank you for the blessing that these women are to us and to this community and to this family. Thank you for allowing each one of us to step into their world at the exact designated time you had prepared for that to happen. Father, I pray special blessings over these ladies. I ask that you bless their families, bless their homes, bless their finances, bless their work. Keep a continual hedge of protection around them, Lord, and I lift them up to you. I thank you, Father, that they're here to bless us and to receive blessings from us. Guard our thoughts and guard our mouths and guard our tongues so that we do speak life and blessings and we hear exactly what it is you want us to say over ourselves and over each other. Thank you for Sean and his family. I ask for blessings to continue to pour forth over him and his family. Bring to his mind exactly what it is we need to hear today. Incline our hearts, soften our spirits, deafen our ears to the enemy, and open our eyes and hearts and ears to you. And help us to go use this to bless others and to also glorify and honor you. And we'll give you all the praise in this precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. That just happened. Amanda, Laura, thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome. It's awesome. And so expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. Well, I don't know what to expect. We talked yesterday. Rumi said, I am iron resisting the strongest magnet. That part inside of you that happens, that allows things to flow through you, is you being drawn to the most powerful magnet, your greatness. You look at all of the people in history. There's very few people that have left their mark in history who haven't had some trials or challenges or awakenings or awarenesses or things that make them noteworthy. Mother Teresa. No, I don't know if anybody knows Mother Teresa's grade point average. I know I'm not aware of it. Now that I asked the question, I may go do a Google search. What was Mother Teresa's grade point average? I say all of that to say this. Each of you are world leaders. It's defining how big the world is for you. When a mom kisses a boo-boo on their child, they fall down, they scratch their finger, or they cut their finger, or they scratch their knee, and you go give it a kiss. You have healed the world. Their world is as big as their knee. Most people's world, this just hit me, most people's world is as big as the pain that they're in. Can you help them step through the pain? Can you help them see things in a new way? And here's the reality. Most people know their answers, know their next steps. They have a tendency to hide it. Amanda has had the ability to speak into her phone, into a laptop, or into a tablet or whatever. She's had that ability for a long time. To now step into that and own that capability to speak and have a conversation, that wasn't number one on her bucket list. But because the way we start to undo things, we can get to some core activities that allow us to have more of what we want and less of what we don't. A perfect example of that, Jeremy's going to share something here in just a second. It's universal. Exactly. It's the undevelopment. It's the undoing of an old story. Laura said, well, I would have been okay with, doing this in front of 10 people. Well, now it's 63. Sorry, we like to speed things up. You get to say this morning, I kind of led a conversation this morning. I was scared to jabibis, right? I'm glad it happened where it was digitally, where it was kind of just you and me having a conversation, you and your phone. But you led a community of 60 plus people this morning in conversation, in thought, in their own ideas. So I applaud both of you tremendously. I'm in awe of both of you. Think about this. If you were going to want to hear from people, if you were going to want to see what makes them qualified, well, you got somebody who's been through Corona. If you've been scared and nervous and frightened to just absolutely not touch anything or completely scared, yes, people pass away from it. But to sit here and look at Amanda and go, well, she didn't like grow another arm, or, it's not like her face rotated and turned upside down. Her face turned into a mask. You look at that beautiful smile that's happening right now and you're like, I guess maybe it's probably sucks. And there's fever and there's all of this stuff. But if Amanda got through it, I guess maybe I could get through it. So, and you look at Laura, and so maybe you're 24 and you have a 2-year-old. Like, oh my gosh, I know what it's like to do that. But you look at Laura and she says, I'm 24 and I have a 7-year-old. It's like, wait a minute. If I do the math, these are two amazingly incredible human beings. They were incredible before we heard their stories. But sometimes when we hear their stories, we add more to them, which are like, I just did what I just did me. So where's Jeremy at? There he is. Hey, Jeremy, tell us a story you shared with me. You sent me a message on Instagram. What was that story?
Yeah. Good morning, Misfits. Rhonda, that was beautiful, by the way. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to share the story, but I'm going to first say the reason why we're all here. We're all here because we are trying to first help each other, help ourselves, to help ourselves get out this black tar that's inside of us, that's holding us back, that's pulling us into these old stories. What Amanda and Laura did today, that got some of that black tar out. Okay, so thank you for that. That's part of having a morning routine, right? So being on these calls of helping each other out, helping ourselves out is part of a routine. Part of a routine that, what are we trying to do really? We're trying to help others as well. And regardless of what else we do, we're trying to help others. So we're on this call, part of a morning routine, help each other to help others. There's other habits, right? Like nutrition, meditation, breathing, fasting, water, sleep, sunlight, and grounding. When we do all of this, when we practice all of these habits, it lets us live in a state of awareness and have a channel of this white light inside of us that will allow us to basically do anything and be anyone we want. So this awareness is pretty great because I'm working with some clients right now, and I used one of these exercises on her. We'll just call her Heather. And the exercise Sean did from a few days ago was just write down, take 5 minutes, put a clock down, take 5 minutes and write down the top 21 things you want in your life. Okay, so I gave this to Heather. And I observed from also a Zoom meeting as she started writing it down in full awareness. She got down to about number 14 and then she paused. And then I noticed the pause. And then she wrote down number 15 and then she said she was done. So I asked Heather what were her top 1 and 2, because we're going to treat this like a playoff bracket. It's 1 versus 2. The winner moves on. Number 1, stable job. Number 2, good income. So, you know, that's a toss-up, 1 or 2. They're kind of the same thing. Number 3 was lose 65 pounds. She said she would rather have that. Number 4 was, and when you're in a state of awareness, you hear this, even though the word means one thing to one person, but when you're in awareness, you realize what she's really looking for. And she said, perfect health, right? Then 5 came in, obviously perfect health won there. 5 came in, she wants to receive love. 6, emotional stability. 8, she wants to have fun. These are all the same things. They're all right in the middle, right? They're the heart, they're love. This is what she's missing. Number 8 was, financial freedom. She wants to learn to play the flute, guitar, tiny home, successful career, car. All of that stuff, like Sean said, it's from the outside. It's not really what she wants. Then the pause came in, and then I said, well, were you done, Heather, or did you have something else? And she said, well, no, I wrote this down right at the very end. And she said, repair the relationship with her daughter. She didn't even put this in her top list until the very end. And when you're in a state of awareness and you notice this, you realize that this is her fire. This is the tar. This is holding Heather down at the moment. This is her tar. She needs to fix this before she can lose 65 pounds. Probably even before she can feel perfect about herself. By the way, we're all perfect if you haven't realized that yet. When you get this tar out and you see the white light, we are all perfect. We're made of the same things. But this exercise that I think everyone should do at some point when you build like a little bit of trust with your people that you're working with, do this exercise, but you need to be in a state of awareness so you can help out and find out, dive deep to the core of helping others, because when you help others, the white light is reciprocated right back into you and it makes you stronger, and there's less black tar. Here's the thing, guys, like you go to the gym, the supermarkets, the banks, wherever you are outside walking, you can feel this black tar, this black energy that's inside of people. You can literally feel it when you're in a state of awareness and you don't have it inside of yourself. You can feel it in others, and then you know the right questions to ask. You can, and if you help someone get out this black tar, you become unstoppable and you can do whatever you want. That's it.
Awesome. Jeremy, thank you for doing that, brother. And here's the thing. This is somebody who, however he circled into time and space in this community that we've been blessed to experience this energy called Jeremy, he wasn't here before. There's a lot of people who get on this call who it's their first time. If this is your first time on this call, drop a N in the chat for new. Let us send some love to you. Let us welcome you. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if you'll be here tomorrow. All I know is it's important for me to show up the best I can, because this may be the only moment I get with you. This may be the only chance, because here's what I do know, 100% fact. This call will never happen again. This call of this moment right now, this will never happen again. It can't. It's impossible. The start of this call was the most amazing start of this call ever in 489 episodes. It's never started like this before. It's easy to sit here. It's easy for people to say, well, wait a minute, that's not how we start our call. It's exactly how we start our call every day today. It's as if we get stuck in the routine, how can it get better? I understand routines. The routine is back down into the moment. There is no time management. There's only energy management and time. There is no, well, how do I get better at time management? You can't get better at time management. You want to know the best time management system there is? Manage your energy. Be in the now. There's no place else you could be. I don't know that. I bet I'll bet anybody my paycheck, my annual paycheck, that if we go back and look at Amanda's her calendar, her planner, her scheduler, it didn't say on the 28th. What is today? The 25th? On today's date, I'm going to speak on Sean's call on the 25th. On the 25th of June, I'm going to speak on this global call that happens in the morning called the Misfits something or other. I'm not even sure, but I'm speaking on that. I'm going to open up the call. No. She lovingly got tossed in front of the bus. The bus didn't hit her. And Moshe's like, oh, by the way, there's a couple of women who'd like to say something. And they're like, gulp. Okay, well, thank you. And Laura was first to go, Amanda, you can go first. And there we go. Now the bus is backing up. And yet it just happened. We can't undo it. And that's where it would serve us well if we learned to sit in the world. She went through COVID. It was excruciating. Can't undo it. We can't unhear it. There's people that may look at Amanda and go, well, I don't think she went through it. Well, what do you mean you don't think she went through it? Why would she say that? Well, yeah, but there's people, there's people that walk around in military uniform that say they were in the military and they weren't because they want a free lunch. Listen, whether she went through it or not, it changed my life forever. That's not I can't decide whether her story is real or not unless I decide it's real or not. I say there's no reason to doubt. What's that phrase? You know, there's people who, well, I don't trust anybody until you prove your worth. That's a challenge. That's a challenging mindset. It's a valuable mindset. I look at life as I love everybody until they give me a reason to not, and then I love them even more. I just don't have, I can love them from a distance. So when we start to help people shed their undesirables, their undevelopment, things like the start of this call happen. We get to meet two amazing souls who are world changers, they've kind of gotten the badge. They've got ribbons very few of us have. And here's what I do know. If you're 24 years old, if you're over the age of 14 or 15, Laura has a badge that you'll never ever be able to own no matter how hard you try. To be at 24 and have a 7-year-old child. If you've passed that moment, if you pass that timeline, you can't go back. You know, I would really have loved to have a child when I was young. You can't. So Laura's like the head of the gang. When she gets on stage, as she begins to step onto stages and people hear that story, there's a significant amount of praise that she's given. So Laura, I will share this with you. As your days go on, right now, 63 people, 67 people now know a story about you, 66 people. Here's what I would encourage you. Here's maybe something, and I work with this. Let me let you in on a little secret, Laura. What I'm about to share with you is the same thing I share with CEOs and executives of $100 million companies, hundreds of $1 million companies, $1 billion companies. You're going to get the exact same advice. And it's deserving of you, this advice. Allow yourself to let the love in. When people hear your story, there's an instant part of you that they fall in love with, that they become stupid. And I say this to say, they don't know what to say. When they do the math, and all of a sudden, if they have a son or daughter that's around that age, or they think of their son or daughter having the courage and strength that you do, they instantly can't come up with a story, and they say goofy stuff. Has anybody ever said, when you tell them your story, has anybody ever come back with like just goofy stuff that makes you scratch your head?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Always. And it's going to continue to happen. Here, let me let you in on a little secret. That's their ability to say they are so in awe of you. They can't even find the words because they've never heard a story like yours before. That's how special you are. That's how amazingly unique you are. So prepare for the love. How many of you have seen Laura's picture on the screen here, or maybe, you know, when she turns her camera off, we see that cute little smile, and she's like this, and she's just gorgeous. She's this little doll. How many of you anticipated, you know, I bet she had a child when she was a kid. I bet that's what I'm gonna throw that out there. And you're like, damn it, I was right. The story everybody had about you was so not that. So there's somebody, Rhonda, you've had a child you weren't supposed to have, and you were told at a very early age. Well, how old were you when you were told you couldn't have children?
15.
Yeah, so I thought there was a connection there.
Yeah.
So you were told it couldn't happen, and another one was told it shouldn't have happened. And so your life was, because of a story somebody told you, was not that pleasant. And when Laura heard about it, I'm sure there were some trepidation and scaredness, you both went into a higher vibration of why me? What would you speak to this young soul?
I see lots of strength. I see some timidness into stepping into the strength, because when she does step into the strength, it's everybody better get out the way. Because when she decides on something, she doesn't waver, and it's done. And it's the strength. It's interesting that you had a child young, because that moment was this beautiful moment of bringing this living soul into the world. It was also a moment where you questioned your strength and the ability to stand in your strength. I feel like you were always this strong personality, but quietly strong. You didn't have to speak up about it. You didn't have to tell everybody about it. But now you're stepping into this strength and you're like, I don't know what to do with myself. But you know you can do it, and you know you're ready for it, but you're questioning yourself. And it's funny that Sean asked me to speak, and it's funny that that's what's coming to me, because some of the things I'm over here writing down and it swirls around you, Laura, is, do you realize how amazingly brilliant you are and how much power that's inside of you?
Sometimes.
I know, and that's what I see. The hesitation there of claiming that, because you go, your instant gut is, yeah, I know, and then when you go to open your mouth, you hear the old story go, yeah, but that's not what you're supposed to say, and don't. Sometimes
You're like reading my mind right now. It feels like it's like you're talking for me right now, and it's crazy. Sometimes, yes, there's moments that I don't know what to say, and I'm scared that what if I said it wrong, or I don't know, what if I like right now.
so
it's
so step into just the immediate obedience of what comes to your mind, of what God puts in your heart, of what he puts on your lips right then and there. And it's challenging, because the old story begins to play in the back of your mind of, yeah, but you had a baby this young and everyone's going to judge you for that, and you didn't have good judgment then, and what makes you think you have good judgment now, and your choices have been, and this whole old story goes 967 miles an hour in the wrong direction. And the whole time you're sitting over there going, yeah, but I know I'm supposed to be doing this. And your heart begins to speak, and your heart's going, I have everything I need. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a strong, brilliant, talented, amazing, God-made woman. But then the chatter all drowns you out. And you doing today what you did put you in your heart center. It scared you to death, but it puts you in your heart center. And when you get in your heart center, that's when this look comes on your face. This look of, that's right. And you really don't even know what to say after that, but that's right. And as you sit in your heart center, you meet people like Moshe, and then you find meditations and Leo and Brandon and all those guys and gals on the meditation group. And then you find Sean and all this. Then you find this crazy woman from East Texas that's telling you things that she should know about you. And all this to say, God sees you, Laura. He sees everything about you. He created you. He celebrated when you woke up and you took your conscious breath this morning. He celebrated. He's like, my Laura is awake. She's here we go. We got another day. And he celebrates you. If the freaking maker of the universe celebrates you, I think you should celebrate you. Just my thoughts, but I think you should celebrate you. We celebrated you. And here's the statement that will hit the hardest with you. You're worthy of being celebrated. You are that valuable, and you're that worthy. And you're worthy to be celebrated right now. And you're worthy to be celebrated right now. And you're worthy to be celebrated right now. every single second. You're worthy of celebration. And I wrote something else down, and I think I'm supposed to be reading it for you. Let me see hang on just a second. One of the things I wrote down is the undesired events, people, actions, things that happen to us are there to help us and remind us to love one another even more. And that's not, hang on, he's bringing me something. Hang on. Oh, here it is. If the same event can never happen again, like if you rewound time, you couldn't redo the second we had before and the 5 minutes I had before. Even if you tried to set the whole thing up, you can't redo that event. Okay, once it's gone, it's gone. If the same event can never happen again, then if an event feels familiar or routine, then it's simply familiar, not the same event. That's freedom from reoccurring problems and reoccurring events. They're not reoccurring events. They're just another chance for you to step out of that uncomfortable place and back into the perfect will that God has for you. I hope that made sense the way I said it.
A little
If not,
bit.
Sean can interpret.
A little
Say again?
bit. Please. It was a little confusing, but
So Sean, say what I said a different way.
You say what you said a different way. So here's what I get. Every time we hear something, we can't go back and redo it because we're already predisposed to the information. The ideas and thoughts of wanting to duplicate something is impossible. Many times we get into relationships and we're like, well, can't we go back to the way we were? The answer of that is no. If there's been moments, I'm sure, Laura, and there's been moments for Amanda as well, where I wonder if it was that person. I wonder if it was this person where I contracted it from. I wonder if it was here, there, or the other. And there's all of these different things that we go through, and it's like, where did I make the mistake? Where did I fall short of it? If I could just undo it. Well, in order to undo it, you'd have to undo your life. Your life is too precious. It can't be undone. And so even in talking about that, follow me on this, we've lost out on the moments of talking about that. Each of you, every one of you, the 69 people of you that are on here, every one of you is designed to be in this moment. I bet, based upon just knowing and understanding people, if I were to ask, is there anybody a little frustrated right now? Did anybody wake up with a little frustration on their eyebrows and on their face and in their heart? Did anybody wake up joyous today? Thank goodness your world is not my world. When we sit and we watch Rhonda say her prayers, and can I'll let you in on a little secret, very selfishly? No, it's about me. It's about me.
Okay.
It's about me.
Say, what you got to say?
But how many of us, follow me on this, how many of us wish you could do what you could to ensure your world is better? Follow me on this. How many of you wish you could not manipulate, but you could ensure, you could build a recipe that allows your day to be better? I ask Rhonda to say a blessing each morning because I want my day to be better. That's very selfish. It's very self-full. I just want my day to be better, so I ask for a blessing. I disguise it as, Rhonda, would you say blessing over all of us? I don't know if y'all are hearing. I only know if I'm listening. Follow me on this? Laura, there's not a chance that there's absolutely a very strong chance that every one of you will go through today, and you may not remember Amanda's name, but you will now. And you're going to say, I was on a call this morning, and somebody on the call had gone through COVID. That will come up because it's a dramatic input into your world. And some of you may have known people. Some of you may have even lost people to COVID. My point is this. These things, all these things happen. Can you arrange, listen, if you are made in like form of the Creator, and it says in a book somewhere, I've heard it repeated many times, even the least of you can do this and more. You're the creator of your world. Do you not have the chance to influence your world? Joe Dispenza says, Dr. Joe Dispenza says, how many of you believe your thoughts can influence your day? I will tell you this, Amanda and Laura have influenced my day. I don't know about you. I can make an assumption, but we all know what happens when you make an assumption. The moments that have happened, the decisions that have gotten you to this moment have put you in this moment, and now in this moment, and now in this moment. It is that simple to choose misery or joy. Too many of us believe that the strategy is going to work. Right? I've been teaching that for years, and there was 60,000 people, 50,000 people yesterday on Tony Robbins' call, and this was on day one. Too many people. What do you think you need? What do you if you could write your perfect day, what would you need to make it a perfect day? And people would put out hows. They would give you strategies. They would ask for strategies. If this happened, I'd be happy. That's not going to do it. Laura shared with us a story. Some of us went, whew, that could have been me. Some of you may have said, I wish that was me. You were told you're not going to be able to have children. And if you were given that gift, you go, I don't care when it is, how it is, what it is. If I get to have that gift, that'll make me happy. Laura, when you sit and you have these conversations, the challenge is that very few people have been able to even have a dialogue with you. There's only a handful of people in the world that can have a dialogue with Amanda, people who have been through it. Out of the 7 billion, yeah, it's a handful. But there's even a smaller handful of people that can have a conversation with Laura and go, I know exactly how you feel. So Laura, you're like this, you're this miracle. And people talk about you all the time once they get to know you. And you're like, yeah, but I don't want to be the center of attention. Well, angels usually are the center of attention. And that's why I'm sharing with you, and I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with you. Prepare for the joy. Prepare for the love. It's like, yeah, but I don't know how to deal with it. Part of as you go through your day, I want you to picture a filter around you that converts, I don't want to say ignorance, that's one word that popped up, that converts confusion into joy. Because when people, you watch their eyes, you know exactly, you can watch they're doing the math. And you see them doing the math, and you watch because you've had to do this so many times, there's things in the world of understanding sales and understanding human nature called micro expressions. An eyebrow twitch, a blink, a furrow of the eyebrow, a look away, a glance away in a particular direction, usually up and to the right. When people are trying to do all of this stuff and you go, okay, here's the story just changed. From them seeing me to all of a sudden, now they just ran a whole gambit of who I should be. just sit there and go, oh, they connected with me. They're trying to figure out how they love me and how they honor and respect me. But they've never had this. You're so unique. You're so special. You're a miracle. As you start to step into that love that Rhonda's talking about.
Yes, I know I have to put myself more out there and speak loud and communicate more. And I guess because I've been told so many times that your language, you know, like, because I speak two languages, Spanish and English, my accent, it's kind of hard for you to be understood.
Wait a second. Hold on.
So-
Hang on just a second. Stop for just a second. If you've been able to understand Laura speak, drop a U in the chat. So let's throw that BS out.
Okay.
So now your accent is perfectly sexy. It's gorgeous. It goes along with the smile.
Thank you.
And so now, so that's one story, right? Because listen, you're a mom of an amazing soul that you've been through the absolute most unique, one of the most unique experiences in life. See, you know, you want to know how special you are? There's somebody who at 16 had a child who thought nobody understands me. You now become the head of the class.
I'm about to cry now.
And that's okay.
Amazing.
My point is that it's easy to, it's because of how special you are and how unique you, listen, Amanda, I love you. In this dialogue, if we were to do comparison, Amanda got COVID. You know how many people have gotten COVID? Right? I mean, it's that crazy to think that, well, yeah, and she survived. You know how many people haven't? Amanda's like one of 4 million, right? The cases, we've got 4 million people have passed away. I don't know what the total number of cases is. She's one of that many. That makes her unique. And then the survivors. Yet now we go to Laura. I had a child when I was like really just barely a teenager. All of a sudden, you're this unique soul in a planet of 7 billion. Now we take you and we take you over to third world countries. Your story's not as crazy. It's more of a common thing. It depends on the world we circulate. So when you say, I need to speak more, I need to talk more, I think you did a pretty darn good job this morning. Just showing up. And what'll happen is now that you've showed up in this energy, now that you've showed up allowing this group of individuals to fall in love with you even more, this is the energy that's going to circle around you. And there's going to be things that happen to you, things that happen to Amanda, things that happen to all of us, because as Jeremy said, our biggest joy is when we're in the service of others. And the only thing we can do right now, Laura, is love you. You didn't ask for it. It's a default. Your smile shows up, we fall in love with you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here. I've been here close to 3 months, but I've been very quiet. And I didn't raise my hand because I guess I was too shy and too scared. And then this happened.
It goes from, and that's usually how things happen on my calls. That's the only way I can speak, is that people go from being the wallflower to all of a sudden leading the conversation. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Well, first of all, do I have your permission to ask you a couple of questions?
Of course you do.
So first question is do I have your permission to help?
Yes.
Awesome. Because, and the help is to help you uncover, undo, relieve, remove some things in your world. So I don't know if I can do that, but maybe I can. So second question is do I have your permission to make you feel a little uncomfortable?
I already was.
I know, and I
Okay.
didn't ask you that because we kind of dove into it. So here's so you answered that one okay. You answered question number 2 okay. So question number 3 is, do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Yes.
Cool. You just made us all better. And that is probably more uncomfortable for you than telling us your story. And here's why that might make sense. Follow me on this, everybody. Her receiving more love is more uncomfortable than telling her story. Yeah, because you know why? This feeling of love that we're pouring into her, the feeling of love that we're pouring into Amanda, the feel of love that whenever we mention any one of your names, this is an unknown place. Her story, she knows. But this love that's flowing in that makes her tilt her head, kind of like the puppy when you make the noise to the puppy and you go, oh, and the puppy goes, right? This is a way of minimizing herself, shrinking herself, sitting in her car going, oh, thank you. Sit up tall, Laura.
Okay.
And put your shoulders back.
There.
And just breathe in this joy that we're sending you. Look at the smile on Amanda's face. Amanda's like, I'm loving that Laura's getting the attention. And then when we go back over to Amanda, it's like, oh, okay, yes.
I'm on the verge of tears. I'm feeling everything you're telling her. You're good.
And so and it's also directed towards you. Because this couldn't happen. Laura couldn't sit here in this joy if you didn't start, because Laura said, you can go first. This whole story, y'all follow this? This whole story could be different. The energy could be different because it happened in the exact way it was supposed to unfold. And each of you have brought us tremendous joy this morning. Can you imagine sitting across from Laura and doing your best to prospect her and not know her story? And you say, and not know that story, the injustice that would happen in your life, the gift that you wouldn't be given to know who's sitting across from you, how strong of a woman is sitting across from you. Listen, I promise you, they don't have a button. Maybe they do. When you're leaving the hospital, they probably, they applaud people who are leaving the hospital who survived COVID, and they're like, yay, and they're wheeling them out in a wheelchair, and they're usually older folks. They survived it. But I don't know that there's a button that people are putting on going, I survived COVID. You should clap for me. I don't know that Laura's going to be wearing that badge. But instantly, when somebody goes, man, I don't know what to do with that. Well, I was through that. You had it? Could you imagine if people walked up to you and when you say, I have faith, I've prayed and Jesus has spoken to me. He has? I asked for my dreams and they showed up. They have? This is possible for each and every one of you. See, here's what makes Laura and me unique right now. The psychographic, not the demographic. I'm pouring love into her. She's pouring love back out to us with her smile. Amanda sits there with this beautiful smile, this joy on her face. That's pouring love back into us. Can you sit in such joy that the world is better?
Yes.
And that's what you're doing, each of you, every one of you. So Amanda, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for eloquently, well, it's been about a week. It's, you know how many people don't speak and it's been years? So Amanda, how are you feeling right now? I'd love to get a gauge of how you're feeling right now.
I have Moshe to thank for that. Kind of giving that extra little push. Feeling like emotionally, physically, or
Sure.
mentally.
What's your how do you feel in your body?
Probably better than before all of this. I didn't have this in my life, and I'm feeling grateful and just blessed, and I don't know, those are like the two main, and joyful, positive, excited. I've been excited and so happy and so energized to the point where there's nights that within the past week I haven't been able to sleep because I just have so much of like things I want to do, so many things that I want to accomplish, and I've kind of had to calm myself down, like it's okay, it's gonna happen, it takes time, and I just and not necessarily for the business or financial aspect, but for the like my personal growth, for my my own mental well-being. And I started to do yoga. I've been doing meditation for a while, but not so consistent. So that's just something so great, doing these morning calls. So just kind of having something to really get into that gives a little bit of stability, and get out of the redundancy of day-to-day things, and just, I mean, I used to just wake up, get ready, go to work, come home, eat, shower, go to sleep. That was my life. I do have, a little dog, Tito. Oh, he just left. So I just play with him. That's the other part. And yeah, I mean, it's just that, and having something. I want to wake up earlier, so I'm doing that. Just making little changes have made a huge impact in my life now compared to what it was before. So if you ask me, how am I feeling? Incredible, happy, and just looking forward to a lot, and just being present. And I just want to say thank you again. I know I said thank you a lot, but I can't thank you enough. It has changed. It's changed my life. I'm so grateful.
Well, again, don't forget to say thank you to yourself, because the source is always available. It's when we step into it. You did this. You made this happen. Every time you've clicked the join, anytime you've sat there and taken a note, this is you doing you. And you're starting to do you at a higher level, the level that you believed is possible. And now buckle up, because here's the reality. You're just scratching the tip of the iceberg of your greatness. And when you begin to understand how absolutely each of you, this is to every one of you, how you begin to understand how amazing you are, you'll sit in a level of confidence. I promise you, you go back a year ago, and I may ask Rhonda, I may ask Ria to go find some year-old videos of us, of you, and I may play those tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But if you go back and you watch Rhonda from a year ago, we won't recognize her voice, the sound. So is a year worth your life unfolding to you? Laura, in an instant, is it okay that 60 new people love you that you've never met and you've impacted their life? Amanda, 60 new people love you that you've never met, and they impact you because you impacted their life. That would be my question to you. That would be my conversation to you.
Hey, Sean, can I say something?
Sure. Yeah, you kind of started the whole thing.
I didn't start it. Well, you did. I just, yesterday I was listening to the 100 thank yous that you said to send out, and I started to realize, man, I have been doing that unconsciously. So I said, you know what? Now I have to do like 500 thank yous because honestly, you're one of the reasons why I finally decided to step into it, right? And so because you saw that in me, right? I saw that in Laura and Amanda and everyone who's been in the meditation, right? So, for a few weeks I did the live on IG. And then today I decided, okay, I'm gonna do the Zoom call and make it something very personal, almost like very comforting. And so from there, I was able to realize, like, I need to do what Sean does and just push people in front of that imaginary bus that's never going to hit you. And I want to say a million thank yous to you for making that happen.
Listen, this is, and here's the thing. When Moshe's doing his conversation, when Amanda's stepping out in front of and stepping into joy, when Laura's stepping into her joy, this is the hard part. As each of you begin to step into the world and be the world changer that each of you are wildly capable of at a much bigger level, know that moments like this, I'm blessed that I get to hear these stories. Don't let the fact that you may not hear these stories keep you from stepping into the world. There's too many people who will step into the world, but I hope Moshe comes on and tells a story about how I impacted him and how that ripple effect has happened and how this is. Listen, when I say I'm working each breath to leave a legacy of 600 generations, not 600 hours or 600 years, 600 generations. You will become less tied to the stories you hear today and more tied to knowing that Laura, I now have flowed into, through Moshe, have flowed into Laura's son. That excites me.
Oh man, you just said something so deep there. I'm gonna keep it because we could go for hours on that one.
And now it flows into him, and now all of a sudden his energy flows back into me, this little 7-year-old who one day I'll have the honor of meeting and be in awe and standing in his presence. Listen, all of us on this call will be okay. We will be, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Now all of a sudden, it's when we step out and we start, Larry Thompson says, when you're doing more of this gets to come back. Whenever you're pointing a finger, 3 are always coming back. We need to go do more of this, not telling, not instructing, not scolding, but when we go give our conversation, we get it back tenfold. Because here's what I do know. There's probably, I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't know that there's anybody more joyful on this call than me right now. How can I sit here and have 52 people watch this unfold and I had a small part into it? I turned the light on. And when I turned the light on, you all were here as a surprise party. Every morning, it's like a freaking surprise party. Surprise! And I get to have a surprise party every single day. Pretty amazing. Thank you all for being here. Hey, Delia, I see your hand is up. Let's go to Miami.
Good morning.
Good morning, Delia.
Do I have permission to edify you?
Oh, sure. Listen, I'm done talking about me. Why don't you all talk about me?
Okay. Well, I want to share the experience with our team yesterday and the kind of coaching that I received from you and Rhonda. I tend to write like a teacher, of course, because that's my trade. And I'm always telling, not enticing curiosity. So I got into a conversation with Sean, and what do you know? He gave me tips, and this morning I looked at the results. I track how many people have read or made comments on my post, and the written post that I did under Sean's guidance gave me 28 leads. And the 28 leads are not all new people, people that follow me constantly. They gave me hearts and thumbs ups and even comments. So following Moshe, I was going to meditate, and I said, well, first things first, let me give thanks to everyone here. And I gave everybody a thank in the 28 list. And this morning I was able to apply the concept that Sean taught me yesterday about enticing or being persuasive in my writing. And I also posted in Instagram. Not to be boring, it's another subject, but I follow that recipe. So I will track on that one as well. And here goes my question, Sean, and thank you. You know me, I want to know everything, and I know that I'm okay and I should enjoy and just, I enjoy the ride, but I still have questions.
Sure.
So because I'm a thinker, after I practice the 3 questions, which my goal today is to practice them 10 times. I've gone around them twice already. I wrote down the questions words that we learned in 3rd grade, like what, where, why, how, what if, when, and then I put until. And I said, if I go through the 3 questions and everyone is a yes, 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 and then now the story is on the lap of the prospectee, if that's a word, the person that I'm prospecting to. And I am listening to their story, and I have to frame their story into my questions so they can discern what it is that they're looking for.
Right.
What would be one of the questions words that I could omit in order not to shut down conversation? Like, I know that what is good, where is good, why is good, what if is excellent, and when, until is also excellent. So I circle the word how, because when I apply how to myself, it's like, Delia, get out. That's God's job. The how is for your subconscious and for God to figure out. Just keep on your desire and follow your footsteps.
Right.
Now, does that how also apply to the person that I'm prospecting to, or is it a good question word for them to discern and understand where they're at and that they need a plan?
So the last part that you said is what they're looking for, the plan. So when you've heard me have dialogues here now on these calls, and you've heard me when people have brought people, and we've done our Zoom calls, and somebody has brought a prospect to have a conversation, you need to meet Sean. After the introductions, my conversation, the question that always comes out of my mouth is, how could I be of best service to you today? After the 3 questions, the next thing I ask is, what would be the best thing you could get out of this call? Based upon what I've just heard, when would you like to change that? So all of the W's are asked and the how is asked. They're just asked in a way that's not interrogative. How can I be of best service to you? Well, aren't you going to tell me your story, pitch me on your business? No. How could I be of best service to you? We've got 10, 15 minutes together. What would make the next 10 or 15 minutes one of the best 10 or 15 minutes you've ever spent with somebody? What would you like to get from it?
Thanks.
Because the second you start to go tell the story, you're following the pattern that they anticipated. I'm a pattern interrupter. Well, I thought you were going to like tell me about your business. I'd like to know about the comp plan. Awesome. I don't really know about our comp plan. So other than that, is there anything else I could help you before we leave? You would be that blunt? I don't know. I'm not going to, should I sit there and lie? I don't know about our comp plan. Is there anything I can, listen, I can't help you with that. Anything else I should help you? Can I help you with before we leave? Well, I thought you had a big business. Yeah, there's 30,000 people, 33,000 people, 34,000 after this month down in Latin America. Well, why don't you know the comp plan? Well, I don't know how electricity works, but I use it. I don't know how the sun works, but I'll plant something and let it grow stuff for me. Things that I know that just work, there's no reason for me to have to figure out. Listen, I don't know how my digestive system works, but I'm going to eat a hamburger sometime soon.
Excellent.
There you go. Thank you, Delia.
Thank you so much.
Let's go to India. I'm going to learn how to say his name. Devi, tell me how to say your name again? Unmute. Let me unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, everyone.
Say your first name for me.
Divyanshu.
Divanshu.
Divyanshu.
Divyanshu. There you go. I got it.
Yeah.
Divyanshu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So I want to share something. I want to share my journal entries. This first time I wrote something like this. So can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Everyone in this world is in the journey to find the answer. Well, some people know the question and some don't. The only thing that do many individuals apart is how badly do you want to seek your truth. If you don't find out your question, no worries, you will. Start reflecting yourself with inner eye. It will help you a much more than a little bit. In this world, many people unknowingly waste their time to seek their truth outside the world. But in reality, it is in us. All you have to do is start getting rid of the cluster which is piled above your answer. It won't happen in a day, but it will. If you do it day by day, so start looking for your answer, folks. It's already inside of you and start living from inside out. But the question is, do you want to seek your truth?
Awesome.
This is first time I wrote something like this in my journal.
So how do you feel that you've wrote that now?
Like something, it's amazing. So usually I write in my journal like what I did in whole day, etc., etc. But this first time I wrote something, like deep. For me, it is deep.
So here's the question. Where did that writing come from?
I don't know. I just wake up at the morning. Actually, here is 6 p.m. I wake up at morning 5 a.m. and just sit outside my balcony and don't know this popped up and put my journal and pen and start writing it.
Right. That's the how, but where did it come from? Where did those words come from?
Don't know.
They came from inside you. So before you wrote those, where did those words exist? Inside you. How did those words come out of you? They've always existed in those. Listen, those words, follow me on this. Those words have always existed. You've used every one of those words. Here's what makes those words special. It's what's called syntax. It's the order with which you put them in. And so you now were able to arrange words you've always used in a way that's given you a result you've never had. This is the power of our words. This is the power of our thoughts. Everything we want, every dream we ever want, every desire, it already exists inside of us. The ability to use it already exists inside of us. But Deviant Shay shared something this morning saying, that's the first time I've ever written that. And he's in awe of reading what is in his journal. Here's the question. Can that happen again? The answer is yes, because if it happened once, here's the real tough part. Do you realize that everything now you write in your journal, if it takes on the same kind of energy of, I've never written that before, all of a sudden the joy you have associated with your journal will be amazing, will be incredible. So 2 things. 1, thank you for writing in your journal. I'm speaking to your subconscious. Thank you for writing in your journal. 2, thank you for sharing it with us all the way from India.
3, thank you for giving me chance to sharing this.
So how do you feel now that you shared it?
Amazing.
Somebody try to wipe that smile off his face.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm so proud of you for journaling like that and for getting into your heart center and writing those words that came from the deepest part of you. So I want you to know that all the way from East Texas, I see you. I notice you. I'm so proud of you, and you've brought a lot of joy to my heart. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just again, so Laura and Amanda, both of you just poured into a young man's heart in India. I don't know how many of you woke up this morning going, listen, I'd like to see if there's a way I could impact India. You just did. That's what I love about what we do here. Look at that smile on his face. He said, this is where we get to sit in joy. And then that smile reciprocates back to us. If you look at Bessie, I'm watching Bessie smile. She may be watching a cartoon somewhere. I don't know, but she's probably, no, I know she's listening to us.
I'm working.
And she's working, but yet she's now smiling because she's hearing this, and it's just plugging into her ear. And this is what we get to do. The world is not a bad place. We get to have joy in it. Thank you all for being here. Divinjenshe, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear you another amazing writing you share with us.
And also, this is first time I didn't, buffer while talking.
There's a lot of firsts that happen on here. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You bet. I know Daniela's hand was up earlier, and so I want to check on her. Daniela, because you probably got kicked off and back on. Good morning, Daniela.
Hello.
Good morning. Hi, Sean. Hello. Hey, Mateo.
You see me do strawberry picking?
Yes, I did. I loved it. It reminded me of when I was your age. Here's the good news, Mateo. My basket was always empty, even though I spent hours in the field picking strawberries. My mom used to have to pay for empty pecks. So, yeah. Go ahead, Daniela.
Okay, so I first wanted to hop on here and say thank you to you for introducing me personally to Rhonda, because Rhonda's made me a superwoman in the past couple of days. That was the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is, like, the last couple of days, I took some days to kind of keep Teo home and spend some time with him. And I realized some things while I was spending time with him. Just even the strawberry picking, the joy that children have without anything.
Standing
And it's
in
like,
the field. Yeah.
just, yeah. It just blew my mind away because I got to see, I was more aware. That's That's what it was. It was more, I was more aware of like paying attention to him and his expressions, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he sang in the car to his favorite songs. And I took the time to just video him to capture those moments, so I didn't forget myself that those things are inside of me still. And
Absolutely.
it takes that one moment to spend with your child, or just children period, to realize that nothing was given to him. I didn't buy him anything. I didn't do anything extraordinary. And we seem to forget that as we grow up. Like, we need these massive things in our lives. Like, we need this brand new car. We need this huge house. We need like these materialistic things where you can actually be happy in a shoebox. And it took me those couple of days to spend with him to realize that I have more in my life that I was, what's the word I'm looking for, that I didn't realize how much of it I had.
You stopped chasing and realized what you found.
Exactly. And the fact that like when I took that video of him live on my Instagram, there was no hesitation from him. There was no like, no, I don't want to do that. What are people going to say? That little boy sang his heart out with no questions asked. He didn't care what emotion he showed. He didn't care what facial expressions he showed. And I just looked at him like the courage, like,
But there was
he didn't
courage.
think, but yes, that's
was
where
no
I was getting
courage.
at.
Yeah.
There was no courage. He didn't even think about stuff like that. He was just like, I'm in my own element and I'm doing this.
Oh, Mom,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, oh, I don't care. And I'm like singing my way.
He doesn't care. He's just singing his.
Well,
I don't care what song she puts on, I just sing it. And I don't care if she, I don't care if she video logs the phone. I just like it.
there and the thing was is that he did care, and follow me on this, and we all care. Can we care enough about us being in our own joy? When we say I don't care, it's not I don't care. It doesn't even show up on my radar.
How I feel.
Yeah, but you care how you feel. That's why you sang. So we wind up trying to fit in to say, well, yeah, I don't care about them. It's not. It doesn't even come to it's not even a topic. When you care, when you are in the moment, strong enough, hard enough, long enough, you'll run from plant to plant, and you go, well, why don't you just, as a parent, why don't you just go down the line and pick all the strawberries? No, I want to go find the big ones.
Right.
And you're like a gnat. You're over here, you're over there, you're over here. You missed this one. No, I'm in the journey. It's the journey that makes me happy. And here's Daniela. You became more by doing less. Sitting in meditation, filming him is your meditation.
Hey,
Sitting
Sean.
and watching his joy show up.
Hey, Sean,
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
I got an answer if you're willing to ask the question.
What does it feel like if you were a kid?
When I was a kid growing up on the farm,
Yep.
I was absolutely in joy. Now, I'll tell you when I wasn't in joy, when the cows got out or when the pigs ate the chickens. It's comical now.
It was terrible.
Because it was pattern interrupt. I was out of joy when my brothers would tell me the electric fence is off, go pick that wire up. And it wasn't off. And you get your butt shocked and you just go, bruh, if you've ever been shocked by an electric fence. But here's the thing. How could something so not joyous now be a moment sitting here now, 50 years later, 40 years later, go, those are pretty fun times.
and we
Oh,
laugh
Mom.
about it.
Hey, Mom. Mom.
'Cause it's just like it's crazy the things that we take so seriously, but we don't ask ourselves like, is this really going to be that important or that catastrophic for you at that moment? But like, if you think about it, if you put yourself a year or 5 years down the road, are you going to sit there and laugh about some of those situations?
Oh, Mom.
Well,
No, I'm not.
And 95% of the time, I sit here and laugh about the situations that have happened in
Listen.
the past that aggravated me.
The other 5% you'll laugh at too in time. Here's the reality. Here's the reality. If we're gonna wait to laugh, we're just taking away our own joy. If we're ever gonna laugh at it, why wait? Bob Parks, you hear Bob Parks say that anytime. If I'm gonna laugh at it in 6 months, why wait?
Hey, Mom.
True. Yesterday, I got to share this with you. Yesterday, I went to go take my series exam. So, mind this, I did not study for this at all. Like, I didn't even open the book. So, my mindset going in there, I'm like, I'm just laughing. And I'm walking in laughing, okay? And the lady's just staring at me like I'm crazy because everybody else that's walked in there is like super serious. They're ready and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, let me take your picture. I was like, all right. So I'm sitting there. She took my pictures. She sits me by the computer. I start the exam and I'm laughing the whole entire time I'm taking this. And I like raise my hand because they have to come in and walk you out. And I raised my hand and I'm like dying laughing because I got the results before she got the results. And you need to get a 70 to pass, and I got a 60. And I failed. And I am like dying laughing. And the lady looks at me and she goes, you do know you didn't pass. I was like, yeah, I do know I didn't pass. She goes, what's funny? I said, the fact that I didn't open that book and I got a 60% is a great day for me. And I got to figure out what's on the test. What they mostly focus on. And she just looked at me and she's like, I don't think anybody comes in and does that. I said, well, there's first time for everything.
Yeah, Mom.
And I walked out laughing. And she just stood there staring at me like the whole entire time as I was walking out. I was like, it's really not that big of a deal. I can retake the test.
Right.
Like, I couldn't wrap my head around why. Because everybody did. Like, the people who passed, yeah, you can tell who passed, who didn't pass. Because the people who passed come out with a smile. The people who don't pass, they came out with a frown.
Right.
So I was like, she's like, I completely thought that you passed. I was like, no, I sure didn't. But I'll take the 60 without opening that book.
Well, congratulations on your 60.
Thank you.
Because the 60 is a lot better than a 0, and a 0 would have been the number had you never stepped in to take it.
Right.
Change the way
I
you
was
look.
excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I love you.
I love you
you
too.
all.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
great day.
Awesome. Shardy,
Bye.
I see you got your hand up.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
Outstanding.
I just wanted to quickly come on here and say a big, huge, massive thank you, Sean, for showing us and myself a different way of reaching people. We have a group in my MLM, and a lady reached out in the group, and she was very upset. I don't know what conversation took place between her and, you know, the person that brought her into the business, but she was saying that, you know, whatever was said was not 100% genuine, and she was told one thing and that wasn't the case, and she has a lot on her plate, and her grandma just died last week, and, you know, she had these membership to pay, and that came out, and now she's in overdraft, and now the bank is charging her, and I couldn't help but feel, you know, my heart went out to her. But then in a sense, I was happy that I wasn't the person that she was talking about, because the person that she was actually talking about is, you know, quite doing well in business. But I can imagine someone speaking about me like that, in the sense that I failed them, or it seemed like I was just after the recruitment. And I just thought of you at that moment, and just really grateful, you know, even though my way might be slower, you know, it doesn't leave people with a bad taste in their mouth like that.
Well, I appreciate that. And here's the good news. You now get to carry this ideal, right? An ideal is the worthy pursuit of an idea. You get to carry that ideal that's now called the Shardia way and carry it forward to keep people in a little bit more joy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Thank you, Sean.
It's my privilege. Hey, folks, listen, I've got an appointment I've got to get to. So RBP, would you give us a wrap? Okay.
Yeah, no, I have one question.
Okay.
Could you possibly be the catalyst in someone's life that jumpstarts their life? Could you be their miracle? And could you be that right now, exactly how you are? It could be that what you consider is your mess and your could be exactly what jumpstarts someone's life, because you showed up in the middle of that and you become their miracle. And you give them, just like Moshe did with Laura and Amanda, you give them the turbo boost they need to see who they really are. So that's my question. Could you possibly be the catalyst in someone's life that jumpstarts their life right now as you are? You're a walking miracle and you're brilliant. So there you go.
There you go. Bezzy and Gigi, if you bring your questions tomorrow, keep them. I'm sure probably as you go through your day, other things will pop up, but I'd love to have a dialogue with you tomorrow on those. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm Sean Murphy, your head misfit, the one who sits in awe and joy of each and every one of your souls that gets to pour into me, and I get to have a surprise birthday party every single morning because of you. I'll see y'all where?
Next event.
At the next event. Love you all.
Bye,
Also,
guys.
love each other.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Have a great
Have a
day.
great day.
Love you
Great
all.
call.
Bye, y'all. Have a wonderful
Have
day.
a great day.
Stop, Sean. Killer.
Love y'all. Bye for now.
Love
Thank you so much for everything, Sean.
Hey.
Where's the girl?